Hello and welcome to Staffworks Explained. This is a channel dedicated to exploring different topical issues from across the globe, but with a special focus on Africa. Join us as we delve into captivating subjects such as groundbreaking projects, current affairs, inspiring initiatives, among others. Our goal is to provide you with valuable insights and knowledge, shedding light on the remarkable developments taking place across the globe. We strive to keep you informed and engaged. Get ready to embark on an enlightening journey with Staffworks Explained, where curiosity meets discovery. In today's video, we'll be looking at the resumption of the Gerd talks. Ethiopia has been building a dam, and this dam has brought a lot of controversy, especially between among three countries, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt. According to a statement by the Egyptian Ministry of Water, a new round of talks between the three countries, Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia, regarding the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the Gerd, resumed on 27th August 2023 in Cairo. The talks were convened as per the outcomes of a bilateral summit between Egyptian President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi and Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on the sidelines of the Sudan's neighboring country summit that was held in Egypt in July 13, 2023. In this brief meeting, Egypt and Ethiopia agreed to reach a final agreement on the Gerd in a period of 4 months. The two leaders discussed means to overcome the current stalemate on the Gerd negotiations. The two leaders stressed the ambitious political will to enhance the bilateral relations politically, economically, and culturally based on the common desire to achieve their mutual interest and the prosperity of two brother states. These will also actively contribute to stability, peace, security of the region, as well as mutual ability to deal with common challenges. In this regard, the two leaders agreed on the following points. One is to initiate expedited negotiations to finalize the agreement between Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan on the filling of the dam and the rules that will guide the operations, stressing that they will do all that is necessary to finalize the talks in a period of 4 months. During the second point is that during this period of negotiations, Ethiopia indicated that it will not fill the dam, or it will fill the dam in a way that does not cause significant harm to the downstream countries, Egypt and Sudan, so that the water needs of the both countries are well provided. Egypt and Sudan has been calling on Ethiopia to sign a legally binding agreement to ensure that the preservation of their water interest and their people's rights. The two downstream countries have urged Ethiopia to refrain from unilateral measures that with regard to the mega dam, warning the consequences of building and operating the dam without a binding agreement threatens the existence of the people of this country. However, Ethiopia has rejected the signing of such a deal and has continued to fill the dam and even operate over the last 4 years. Ethiopia is also preparing to implement the fourth filling of the dam, which is 74 billion cubic meters reservoir during the coming period of during the coming rainy season, and the two countries are still in objection. So this has brought a new round of talks which are aimed at breaking this stalemate that have lasted for so many years, almost more than 10 years. At the start of the new round of talks on 27th August 2023, the Egyptian Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation Hani Sewilam affirmed that reaching a balanced and legally binding agreement on the rules of filling and operating the dam is important. He confirmed that any unilateral action in this regard should be stopped, noting that the ongoing operation of the Gerd in the absence of a legally binding agreement violates the agreement on Declaration of Principles DOP of 2015. This is a 10-point agreement that was reached between the three among the three countries. The Minister of Egypt continued and said that Egypt continues to exert utmost efforts to ensure that these negotiations are successful, and it sees multiple technical and legal solutions that meet the needs and interests of the three countries. On its side, Ethiopia ambassador to the U.S., Seleshi Bekele, who is also the chief negotiator and advisor on transboundary levers and Gerd to the PM office, and he's also leading the team. He says that necessary preparation has been made to conduct the negotiations in a way that respects Ethiopia's benefits or interests and future development rights. The construction of the dam, which is now 90% complete, has been a source of decade-long diplomatic standoff between Ethiopia and her downstream nations, Egypt and Sudan. The last talks failed to yield a three-way agreement on the filling and operation of the dam. The talks then stalled after Cairo insisted the filling of the reservoir to stop until such a deal was reached, a position that was rejected by Ethiopia, seeing it as a contradictory to the previous agreed principles. Last month, the Prime Minister, that is in the month of July 2023, the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi agreed to break the stalemate over the Gerd negotiations. The two leaders agreed to initiate expedited trilateral negotiations to finalize the agreement on the filling of the dam and the rules of its operation within 4 months. Ethiopia, as a show of goodwill, also indicated that it was committed to fill the Gerd reservoir this rainy season without causing significant harm to the downstream countries, that is Egypt and Sudan. The chief negotiator of Ethiopia says that the negotiations will strengthen cooperation among the three countries, adding that Ethiopia will continue to stand firm by its position regarding the principle of equitable and reasonable utilization of the Gerd of the Nile rivers, and will continue working to arrive at an amicable conclusion and negotiations. Commissioned by Ethiopia Electric Power Company, which is a government-owned agency, the 3.4 billion euro dam is being built by an Italian construction company called Yeild. This is in Ethiopian western region of Benishangul Gumuz. Once it is completed, Ethiopia sees the dam becoming an energy hub for the country and also in the region that is in great need of energy. It will also allow the country to generate and export clean and renewable electricity, avoiding the emission of more than 2 million tons of carbon in every year. Egypt views the dam as an existential threat to its water share from the Nile and wants Addis Ababa to reach a binding agreement on the filling and operation of this dam. Ethiopia sees the dam as a crucial component for its development process and denies any harm to the water share of Egypt and Sudan, the two downstream countries. Although Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan have not reached a comprehensive deal on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, there has been periods during negotiations when the countries have made some progress on certain aspects of the project. Some of the areas where there has been a level of agreement and or understanding include information sharing and cooperation, where these countries have generally agreed on the importance of information sharing and cooperation regarding the dam's construction and also operation. They have acknowledged the need for transparency and the exchange of technical data to assess potential impacts. They have also agreed on meetings and negotiations. The countries have participated in multiple rounds of negotiations facilitated by various parties, including the US, the African Union, and the EU. While there are worst instances of tensions and walkouts, the fact that negotiations were ongoing is an indication of a willingness to engage in a dialogue. They have also agreed on a principle of equitable use. All the three countries recognized the principle of equitable and reasonable utilization of shared water resources. They acknowledge the need to balance their respective interests and concern. It's also an agreement on hydropower development. All the parties have agreed on potential benefits of hydropower development in the region, which could contribute to the economic growth and energy security in all the three countries. There is also joint project investment. There have been discussion about potential joint projects and investment related to water infrastructure such as irrigation, energy development. While there is no specific projects which have been agreed upon, the idea of collaboration has been explored during the talks. There is also an agreement on avoidance of significant harm. The three countries have generally agreed on the importance of avoiding significant harm to downstream nations due to the dam's operation. However, there were disagreement about how to define and ensure this principle in practice. The main contentious issues regarding the dam among the three countries include: one is the filling rate and timeline. This is one of the major disagreements. The speed at which Ethiopia should fill the dam. Ethiopia is aiming to fill the dam of a short period, while Egypt and Sudan are concerned that a rapid filling could significantly reduce the downstream flow of the Nile, affecting their water supply and also agriculture. The other issue is on the drought mitigation. There were debates about how the dam operations would address drought and prolonged dry periods. Egypt wanted assurances that during these times Ethiopia would release sufficient water from the dam to maintain the downstream water levels. The other point of contention is on dispute resolution mechanism, where these countries had differed on how to resolve the potential disputes related to dams operation and any adverse effects. Ethiopia prefers a more flexible and non-binding approach, while Egypt and Sudan want a more legally binding agreement with a mechanism for resolving disputes. There is also the issue of environmental and social impact. The construction and operation of the dam could have significant environmental and social impacts on the region, affecting local communities, ecosystems, and downstream water availability. They were concerned about how these impacts would be addressed and mitigated. There is also the issue of long-term water sharing agreement. The negotiations highlighted deeper disagreement about the overall allocation of Nile waters among the countries. Egypt and Sudan, which rely heavily on the Nile water, are seeking a comprehensive agreement that would address not only the Gerd but the broader water sharing issues. There is also the issue of safety and technical concerns. There are questions about the dam's structural integrity, safety measures, and potential downstream impacts in case of a dam failure. All parties wanted reassurances that the dam would be built and operated safely, but now that the dam is almost complete, this is no longer an issue. There is also the issue of external mediation and involvement. These countries had different preferences regarding external involvement in the negotiations. Ethiopia sometimes expressed a desire to manage the talks bilaterally, while Egypt and Sudan sought international mediation to ensure fairness and impartiality. So these are some of the issues that the resumed talks will aim to address. And as we have said earlier, Ethiopia has shown commitment by postponing the fourth filling of the Gerd. Ethiopia was supposed to start filling the Gerd from July, but this has been postponed to September. This was announced by the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who announced the postponement on August 5th, 2023, during the session at the Ethiopia House of Representatives. He said that the decision was made in order to address the concerns of downstream countries, including Egypt and Sudan. The fourth filling was originally scheduled to begin in the early August. However, Ethiopia has said that it will now begin in early September, after the rainy season has ended. This will allow the countries to fill the dam more slowly and in a more controlled manner, which would help to mitigate any potential negative impact on the downstream countries. The postponement of the fourth filling, analyst says, is a positive development. It shows that Ethiopia is willing to listen to the concerns of its neighbors and to take steps to address them. It also gives the three countries a more time to negotiate a binding agreement on the filling and operation of the dam. So we'll continue to see how these talks go. Now that the three countries have agreed to resume the talks and also be able to iron out all the contentious issues. With the Sudan having a conflict, it will also be interesting to see how Sudan will be represented. So we'll continue to follow up on these Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, on its progress, and also the progress of the talks that are aimed at agreeing on various issues regarding sharing of Nile waters. So thank you for reaching this far. If it's your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Also, watch other videos that you have done on this dam and other issues in Ethiopia and other topics around the globe. So thank you for reaching this far, and subscribe to this channel, like, also share, and leave a comment on this topic. Thank you.